Okay, it is time for a video, and we're going to try and keep this one short. There is really nothing to talk about the JP side at this point for anybody who's curious. JP this week is getting some EXs as well as a raid this week, but other than that, not too much to talk about. However, have no fear, Global is here with a little bit of news. All right, so what is there to say? I think originally I thought that this unit was never coming to global, and as it turns out, yeah, she is. She is coming to global. So that's a. I think if you had asked me back in the time that we originally had this on JP, I was erring on the side of caution, saying that people shouldn't necessarily expect it. Now, given how Global's schedule has kind of been, with just constant back-to-back great units, FF7 literally right before this, and more stuff coming in the future, I have to say that this is, I don't know, I feel like this is maybe one that maybe should have been passed. However, that being said, there are fans of Classy out there, and I'm sure that they are going to be very happy to see her. So, we're going to talk about that today. We're going to be talking about the FF7 event and what you should be looking forward to for that, and how much you should be farming, kind of your farming forecast. All right, so Glassy. Is she a must-have for everybody on Global? Given how fast and furious character banners have been coming lately, that it really feels like Global hasn't had almost any kind of a break. Honestly, not really. Now, let me explain. First of all, let's get the obvious out of the way. Glassy is not going to be a limited character on Global, and that is a big decision in my recommendation of her. I think that Glassy is absolutely an amazing character in terms of her design, in terms of her stats, in terms of how powerful she is. Just switching over here to a team that I actually have her on. Not that team. This team. As you can see, I've made an entire mage composition, and this is my every time auto farm. I always see if I can get away with this one, just because it is so good, it is so reliable. You have heal here, you have damage, AoEs, everything. And as you can see, Glassy stats, when built even a little bit differently, are pretty astounding. I mean, for a mage, you can run Phoenix on her and still get really great damage. You could run Bahamut, you could run any of the magic summons out there, and all of them are totally acceptable. However, that being said, she is conducive to a really interesting build with a defensive summon, and it works okay because you can still just throw something like Golem, for example, on your actual tank, like Mont or Engelbert, which is another thing I guess we need to talk about. But Glassy stats are really neat and different from a lot of other mages. She can be made to be essentially one of the tankiest, physically tankiest mages in the entire game. And taking a look at her options, I'm not going to go through the entire thing because I've done a review. You can go check that out. Just search Umber Rays and, God, what did I call her? Anniversary Glassy. There's a piece of hair right here. It's really distracting you. Maybe it's not distracting you. See, I can't do anything. It's just boing, 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 boing. Anyway, that's the highlight for this video. But taking a look at her sub-jobs, just to really make mention what's worth noticing here. First of all, White Mage. White Mage has healing, shell, protect, healing, and does have raise. It does not have auto raise. It does not have re-raise for some people. It does not have even full life. None of those things are in there. So White Mage is still very basic, but it can provide support when you need it at times. And again, she can be tanky enough that she can be a little, resilient to taking damage and then potentially heal right back up. So White Mage is a good option for her. Her other option, Scholar. Scholar gives her reduction of casting time with a little bit of a speed boost, a defense increase, and defense debuff resistance, and also gives her Rockfall. Rockfall is a very powerful ability. Anyone who has Scholar knows that. It's a big AoE that heals 30% of the damage done. So catching a whole bunch of enemies can be a full heal pretty reliably. All of that's very nice though. Taking a look at her main job, well, what do we have here? Well, Preserve, Sleep, large AoEs, damage up upon status effects, damage up upon haste, spirit penetration increases, magic buff increases for other party members. She is an incredible character, no matter which way you build her. You can build her as her main job, you can build her as White Mage, you can build her as Scholar. All three are totally viable options, and her Limit Burst also reduces counters on enemy targets while granting her AP auto regen. She is an absolutely amazing character whose probably only major weakness is that she has casting time, but it's not even a for certain thing that it's going to be a problem. I have had this character since she essentially launched on JP. I have never regretted getting her. I have never regretted building her, about making her strong, and she has paid off in dividends in terms of hard difficulty content and auto farming as well as PvP. I've used her in everything to great success. She is incredibly reliable, and I love this unit. So why do I say she's not a non-automatic yet? Well, she's not limited. You can always get her. You can always get her and build her in the future. I think even taking a look at the weekly campaigns, you can even start getting some of her shards through that, which is really nice. I mean, that's a really nice thing to start working towards. She is a 100 cost unit, so she is going to take a little more time. But as a fire elemental character, she works incredibly well with UR Mont, but there are so many good characters on Global that have come so fast. And that's not even talking about all the things in the future. Best units, collaboration units, all that kind of stuff. There is a huge amount of pressure. And we still have Halloween, which we don't even know what it looks like yet. But yeah, Glaciela is a great get. She's a fantastic unit. She's one of my highest recommended units. And I love her, but I don't want to put too much more pressure on globalers at this point because it's been a long string of banners lately, and I don't think you necessarily need it anymore. I haven't even talked about the fact that her TMR is just a 40% magic boost on a diamond AoE centered around herself with increased magic resistance penetration. Jeez. For herself. Yeah, this is a great unit. If you can, go for her. If she's one of the units you're targeting, you won't regret getting her. But she is a permanent addition in the pool on Global. You don't have to worry about her disappearing, and she can show up in future polls. So please remember that before you spend or anything like that. All right. But that is not the only thing this week. There is also a slew of new EXs. Surges, Fina, and Engelbert. I've reviewed them all in the past. I don't think Surges is too worth talking about unless you're an ice aficionado, in which case go check out his review. As for Fina and Engelbert, if you are looking for really buffing your light elemental team, if you're interested in building Jaden in the future, think about EXing both of those units. But that's really the only case. I still think UR Mont is a better tank, and into the future as well, I think June, the new Fest character, is a better tank as well. As for Fina, I don't know. This is a character I've seen in high tier PvP. I understand why she's there because of her EX, but I see her get flattened just a few too many times to be a high recommendation. So keep that in mind. And last but not least, let's head over to equipment. Because, of course, there is the Shinra Bangle. And the Shinra Bangle is an amazing piece of equipment. It has essentially, critical damage support as well as defense penetration. Both of these things are physical defense penetration. If you have any interest in using physical units in the future, you need to get a +5 of this. I recommend getting critical. However, there's like 3 types, not the aim type, because I think aim can be boosted with vision cards, but there's one other type and I'm forgetting it. I think it's just shield or whatever. Either shield for a defensive option or critical for a higher critical, since it is such a critical based item. Either one of these are good, but you should be farming at least 1 +5 of this, plus a little bit more if you can. Of course, it depends on luck, it depends on Chocobo Expedition and all of that, so I'm not going to say you need much more than that, but if you have all 4 FF7 units, this is definitely the one to go on. You want to get this item, and you want at least a couple of them. Maybe even 2 +4s is good, but you want some combination, and I do recommend a +5. It is a great item, it has nice stats on it, and yes, there is the FF15 bracelet in the future that is human killer, but let's face it, you want some of each. So yeah, the best of luck to globalers farming that. In terms of the Trials of Reckoning, from what I remember, it was a pretty easy one, and for everybody going for Glaciela Regalia, best of luck to you, because she is a tip-top unit. So anyway, let me know in the comments, are you super interested in any of the stuff this week? And if so, what? And also, how hard would you go for Glassy? I mean, I realized what I was saying halfway through. I'm not going to change it. Boing. See you next time.